Hi everyone, and welcome back to our take on cruise with Shannon and Roger, or
Roger and Shannon.
my name is Shannon McKee of Access Cruise, and with me today I have
Roger Blum with Cruise and Port Advisors, and I have a question for you and for all of our viewers.
Really?
What is the #1 country in the world for tourism? And it has been for the last 30 years, the #1 country.
the USA?
I'll give you a hint. They just hosted the Olympics and they did a phenomenal job. So for our editor here, hats off to France, to the city of Paris, to every place in France. They did an amazing job.
It was gorgeous. We watched a lot of Olympics. It was wonderful to see, and I love the games, and I love the camaraderie amongst the athletes. And I know you were making a reference between the athletes and ships.
Well, not just the athletes, but also everybody. It's the time that, and I don't want to just speak for the United States, but so many different countries now. There's a lot of divisions. People are disagreeing about many things. But when it comes to the Olympics, it brings everyone together because they have a common goal. There's a nationalistic pride, no matter how your teams do, but it brings everyone together. And that's similar to what we've always said about the crew on cruise ships.
That is so true, and I am also looking forward to the 2028 Olympics, which comes back to the United States and to LA. And we mentioned, I wonder how many ships will be chartered for the LA Olympics.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they're even going to need it, because LA's got a lot of hotel rooms.
You never know, right?
Well, I was actually in LA during the '84 Olympics.
Yeah.
But I was actually working on a ship, so I was only there in and out on Sundays, didn't get to see anything.
Well, speaking about ships, the number of ships are growing with a breaking news announcement over the weekend with Disney announcing 4 new ships, which is interesting because they've gone from, now they have 5. They had already announced 4 new ships, and now another 4 new ships. That'll take them up to 13 ships in 2031.
I think it's a really interesting announcement because Disney, considering all of their different cruise lines out there, they've probably, well, I'll say probably again, been the most conservative as far as growth. Their first ship came in '98, and between '98 and today, what's that, 16 years, they've grown to 5 ships. And demand for these ships is crazy, which is reflected in their pricing. Now they're really going full speed ahead and growing. Maybe it'll make them a little bit more affordable as there's more supply, but they have been so conservative, and this is a giant growth for them.
I think it's giant growth, and it'll be really interesting to see what those itineraries look like, because Disney has traditionally stayed a little bit closer to home and close to the domestic market here in the USA, but with all of these new vessels, I think it'll be interesting to see where they deploy these vessels around the world, if it will go hand in hand with some of the parks that they also have. So I'm looking forward to seeing what their strategy is.
I am too. I've sailed with Disney a few times with my family, and it's a great product. It's a great experience. But before we go,
I know I'm melting.
It is really hot. Like we're cooking here.
So what are your shout outs?
My shout out is back to the Olympics. With this national pride, it's not a big surprise. Countries like the United States, China, France, of course, the UK, all of these big countries did great in medals. But I really want to give a shout out to our friends in the Caribbean. The Caribbean is the #1 cruising region in the world, and I think we've both been fortunate that we really know all of the world. But for me personally, I spend more time in the Caribbean naturally. And to see small countries like St. Lucia and Dominica win their first medals in the Olympics ever, and they were gold medals, I'm so proud of them. You know, and then other countries like obviously Jamaica, Cuba, they always get medals. And I'd like to give a special part of this shout out to my friends in Martinique. I was talking about France. Martinique is as French as you can get, with a mixture, a lot of Creole in it, but Martinique is French. The Martinicans compete on the French team. They don't have their own teams, and even the Martinique flag was very prominently exhibited during the medal ceremony for the French basketball team. So my shout out to all of these countries and to everyone who came together.
Congratulations. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.